Right, so it's been 1 whole year since I did my 10 years of E46 M3 ownership video. That proved to be quite a popular video with a lot of comments and a lot of feedback as well. So I've got a good idea of what I want to talk about a year onwards, because quite a lot has happened since then. The head gasket caught it early enough to not cause any damage. So the only thing that happened was my garage noticed a split in the head gasket between cylinders 5 and 6. And the symptoms leading up to that led me to dropping it off to the garage was it's like a pinging noise from the block applying mild throttle at low RPM. So around about 3000 RPM, apply some mild throttle and you'll hear it clattering. It's like as if two pieces of metal are clattering together, and that's sort of a pinking or pinging noise, whatever you want to call it, that you get. At high RPM and at heavier throttle application, the noise went away completely. So it seems to be it was at the early stages. I wasn't getting any of the other symptoms of head gasket failure, such as white smoke coming out the back, loss of oil or fluids or anything like that. It didn't even lose power. So it was driving as it always does. And yeah, it's just that noise really. And before I dropped it in for the head gasket check, I did try all the obvious things that could cause a similar kind of noise. So spark plugs, coil packs, even some engine mounts and stuff like that. None of that sort of changed anything. My garage did check it beforehand to do some diagnostics, and they did say some of the exhaust seals and gaskets for the entire system, especially for the midsection and up to the manifolds, they were worn and corroded, so they could be an issue, but it wouldn't cause this kind of noise. So I got them changed anyway. So I dropped it off in June once I'd exhausted all sort of easy options. And there was an EML as well. So the EML was saying misfire at cylinder 5, and then sometimes it's misfire at cylinder 6. So all of those sort of conditions aligned with potential head gasket failure. And obviously the only way you can check that is to take the head off and inspect the head gasket. So I dropped that off to the garage, and it was there for just over 3 months, maybe 4 months. So a long time. I had a lot of other stuff done at the same time as well whilst it was away. So tie rod end, track rod ends and tie rods for the front alignment. Some of the exhaust gaskets and things, I got all of that done. All of the bushes were done prior to that. Some other seals and things around the engine bay. So it just made sense to get all of that stuff seen to at the same time. The delays, normally it should be a 5-6 week turnaround for head gasket alone. But the head does have to be sent away to a specialist to be inspected and then skimmed if it needs to be done. So 0.7mm is all that needs to be done. No damage anywhere else or no other issues or anything like that. All the cylinders were good. All the pistons and everything were good. Some light sort of dirtying from oil deposits and things like that. But other than that, nothing major. So as I say, I think we caught it early and that was really good. Conditions for the delays and things were down to BMW. So a lot of the times they delayed sending parts from Germany. Twice they sent the head bolts incorrectly. So the first time round was they sent them without washers. The shims needed to be ordered twice. So there's something like 24 shims in total that needed to be replaced because BMW sent the wrong shim sizes based on well, counter to what my garage requested from BMW. So it's just all of these things came together and just added to all of the delays. So as I said, I'll get some B-roll rolling around the car 11 years now on, and I wanted to talk about some other stuff as well and get some driving footage, because I don't really have much in the way of that. I've got some passenger reactions and things, but nothing, just driving around, just exploring the way the car feels and sounds just on the road, just driving normally really. So I'll get some of that. But I also wanted to use this video to talk about a new project that I'm launching. It's been about a year in the making, planning stages. And it does involve the car. It is called Khanversations, as in Khan Versations. And I'm going to have some guests on the series. So these guests will cover a broad range of careers, disciplines, skills and experiences, that kind of thing. So the idea of it is driving around in the car, getting their reactions to the car as well as talking about their sort of what the cool thing is that they've done with their experiences and careers. So it could be philosophy, it could be science, could be astronomy, could be religion as well. So all these kinds of topics I want to talk about and discuss, and it's just an open discussion. There's no sort of sided politics or anything like that involved. It's just an open conversation with people that just want to share their experiences really, and maybe inspire, just have a laugh and enjoy the roof down open air motoring, and just sort of capture those moments as time goes on. So yeah, we'll see how that goes on, and hopefully it's something really quite interesting. So that's enough for me talking for now in the car. Okay, you can probably see the yellow markers that my mechanic has used to denote everything he's talked up. But yeah, so 5 and 6 is most common where the head gasket will fail. I'm at 159,000 miles now with the car. So this is the donor engine, and this donor engine is on around about 119,000 miles because I got it at 62,000 miles, and the car itself is on 159k. So around about 119k, that region, give or take. I can't remember exactly which. I never really noted it down at the time and tracked the mileage onwards. I'd have to go back through receipts and the app log and all that kind of stuff to get an exact figure, but it was around about 119k miles. And as I say, the symptoms were clattering from the back of the block when at mild RPM, at mild throttle at low RPM. It's just one of those things that once you get to this kind of ownership time period, you do have to consider stuff like that. Yeah, everything else was fine. No other leaks or issues anywhere else on the engine bay or even under the block or anything like that. And as I say, I'm in the running in phase. So I've done about 200 miles in it already. And my garage did say just to keep an eye on the Vanos unit, the seals around it, and potential leaks that might happen, because it is a running in service that they need to do around about 500 miles time. And I've got my oil, probably see it down here, Castrol Edge oil down there as well. So it's ready for the running in service, which is just basically an inspection to make sure there's no leaks, there's no issues around the block or the head, and to give an oil service as well. So just to change the oil from the running and oil that's in at the moment, and we'll be good to go. So now the head gasket does fail typically because the engine's off at the moment, but unless it's the CSL on the rev counter, the lights will change to 7.5, which denotes optimum running conditions or temperature for the water, not for the oil. You have to keep an eye on the oil temperature needle, specifically on non-CSL models. So unless you've recoded your tack lights to reflect oil temperature, then by default on all E46 M3s, barring the CSL, that light will denote the water temperature, which reaches optimum temp way before the oil does. So I think what happens is a lot of owners, or early owners especially, they see the light go to 7.5 and think car is ready to now rag it, and they start revving it, and that's when you start to deteriorate the head gasket and other components inside the block. So it's just over time it will happen, and the head gasket is going to split anyway at some point because it's a high revving engine. So the more high revs you do, even at optimum temperature, it's going to slowly wear in and wear away that area, just because that's where all the heat is generated. But you kind of expect that. But ragging it before the oil has reached optimum temp will obviously fast track that process. Now, I've had the car for 10 years. I've had this engine in since around about 2017. So it's had a good life. It's had a good run, and I have used it, and I have revved it to redline often enough. So it's kind of that time. And as I say, I caught it early, so no major damage was done, other than just damage to my wallet and some time away from having to drive it. But as you can see, it is in a really good condition. It's really clean. Still got the Eventuri. I am considering potentially going with a new hybrid airbox, the carbon fibre box that Evolve announced recently, which is now available to order. As I've already got the Eventuri, I don't need the full kit. I just need the partial kit for already existing Eventuri owners. So it will just give that section there. But it's not cheap. It's about £2,500. So I will have to and ah about it. But if I want more sound, then yeah, I think I will probably go for it at some point. But I'm in no rush. It does give you around about 10 to 20 more horsepower as well, looking at Evolve's dyno graph. So I'm already on 347.7 horsepower with the Evolve remap that I had when I installed the Eventuri, it was 337 beforehand. So I did gain a little bit of horsepower. So an additional 10 to 20 with that plenum box from Evolve will take it around about just over CSL horsepower. So that'll be pretty cool. But as it stands at the moment with Evolve's remap, all of the gains are at 6,000 RPM and above. You do notice it, especially when you're going off to redline, and it does generate power all the way up to 8,200 RPM. The interior still's really nice. I mean, sort of maintain this on a month-by-month basis anyway with Blip Tone leather cleaner, and it just stays in nice condition. Nav unit, everything like that's still the same. Camera mounts for the series, so that's all good. It is a little bit dirty from the rain, but other than that, everything else, let me just walk around the car, is still pretty awesome. Since my last video, I did change the front and back brake discs as well. So I am now on StopTech Black Series one-piece rotors, front and back. I think I was on the fronts beforehand anyway, but they're all round StopTech now. So these were about £120 each, compared to the £400 that the ATE stock ones are, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I've had no issues with them at all. Performance and stopping power seems exactly the same as what the ATE stock discs were. As you can see, the drums are black, or the barrels are black, so they're not going to go rusted orange over time when it rains. And if I can just zoom in there, you can see that the edges of the discs are black as well. So yeah, it stays black for longer and it looks better, and don't have to deal with the oranging that happens whenever you drive the car or just leave the car on a driveway in moist conditions outdoors. But everything else is still the same as my previous video, and I think what I'll do is just go out for a drive and get some POV or cabin perspective driving footage. But just to note, I'm not going to go above 4,000 RPM just because it's still on the running in oil, and I'll probably do another video once I've got the car back, and then I can fully explore the full rev range. But yeah, let's go out on the road and do some roof down driving. Okay, so before I had the car in for the head gasket work, it was driving as it's always done, and it's always been fairly smooth anyway. And I can't remember exactly how smooth it was when I first got the car, just because it's been so long. But since getting the car back, it's even smoother now than what I remember from the early days. In that from 2000 RPM onwards, even just applying mild throttle, it's just so linear, and the way the power is delivered. It's probably because all of the innards of the engine bay, the engine, the block and the head, they're all clean, fully cleaned up, and everything's new. All the gaskets, all the seals, everything is fresh. Thank you. And yeah, it's just been all the valve clearances have been rechecked and done, new shims as well. So yeah, it's definitely smoother. Whether the power is increased or not, I don't know. I just haven't revved it beyond 4,000 RPM yet, so it's hard to tell that side of things yet. But the low RPM range, so this is just driving around town like I am at the moment, all of that is excellent, really. It's a much better, or a much more comfortable, even though it's a manual as well, town driving car. So I'm thankful for that. And I have done 200 miles, so that's been mostly on the motorway. Really good on the motorway. So the bushes that I had done since the last video, I've gone pulley bushes now. So I've gone with all the purples and yellows, which were recommended by my garage, just because they have a much longer lifespan. They're much easier to install, and my garage confirmed that. So when they installed them, they said it was way easier. They install them by hand, there's no malleting needed or anything like that. actually took longer to remove the Lemforder OEM bushes than it did to install the new ones, and it was installed by hand. So yeah, they were the same price as the stock bushes, and in terms of feel and noise and sort of vibrations and things, I haven't noticed any increase on the road, especially on the motorway as well. But I have noticed the steering and the agility of the car is a bit more pokier, so it's a bit more precise than what I remember. Now, I have had the bushes replaced twice on this car in my ownership with Lemforder ones, with the OEM ones, and whilst the handling did improve with those as well, the handling with the poly bushes is even greater. So whilst I did go from old bushes to new bushes, so you'd expect the improvement in handling anyway, it's just been even better than going to new stock bushes, which is interesting, given that they're the same price, but they should give me twice the lifespan at least as well. The oil isn't quite up to temperature yet, because I have only just been doing town driving, so I think we've got another couple of miles before it reaches it. Typically 2 to 3 miles of driving before oil reaches optimum temp, which is about 85 degrees here, so we're not quite there yet. So I'm not going to go above 2,500 RPM. Give it another mile or so before that happens. It's a clear day, a little bit of cloud, so should still be able to have a bit of fun out on the road. Changing gears is a lot smoother now as well. It was smooth before anyway, but again, it's that additional refinement to smoothness. I can change up and down gears and it's just utterly smooth. It feels like an automatic. Of course, it's a manual, so you can make it as harsh as you want it to be, but just driving around town, it's just very smooth. So we'll just go down to third, go down to second, smooth, back up to third, down to fourth. And you probably won't even see that in the video, but you can't feel those gear changes because it's that smooth. Now, I did have my clutch and flywheel changed back in 2017 when I had the donor engine installed. Effectively, the engine is new from the bottom end upwards now, so I've got at least knowledge of exactly what this engine has now been through from my ownership. So I should be good for another 10 years or so before any major work needs to be done on the engine. Water pump is new, Saleri with the metal impeller. The only thing that's still original in the engine bay now is the alternator and the water expansion tank, the coolant expansion tank. So we're at optimum temp now, so 3,000 RPM will go up to 4,000 in fourth gear. So you can hear the Eventuri just kick in even from 3,000 RPM. So we'll drop down to third and we'll let it go down just below 3,000 RPM before I apply throttle with the windows up. So here we go. So that was up to fourth, and we'll do it with the windows down. And we're just coming up to a roundabout, so I'll wait for that. So now we're into second. So we're at 3,000 RPM. Fourth. And then down to second. And we're just at a junction, so yeah, it's really good, and I've only just been driving it below 4,000 RPM all this time and getting really good enjoyment out of it. It's one of these cars now that you can have a lot of fun with the noise, with the feel, the revs, the gear changes, even at low speed town driving. So you don't have to be speeding or anything like that to enjoy it. And I imagine this is what the car, or the E46, felt like and sounded like when it was new. Obviously with a stock airbox. Fourth. So you can see what the difference is. I'm going to go to fourth. Now the windows are up. Just how much noise just having the windows up contains, and then you get a cocoon section of warm air from the heaters and the sound as well, and you can hear yourself think. So windows up, you can even hear that downshift. So if I put the windows down, now the sound comes through a lot more. So you can still have a comfortable experience roof down, but with the windows up. I'm going to let the traffic go ahead a bit. I've got no one behind me, so no one to annoy. So I'm going to drop to third, and then to second. And we're going to go to about 2,500 RPM, or 2,000 RPM. Here we go. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, fifth, fourth, third, we'll do the same again with the windows up. So we're going to go down to third, and then we'll drop down to second again at 2.5 or 2,000 RPM. So here we go again. Third. Sixth. And then down to third. So it's a lot quieter. But it is a very comfortable, I mean, it's a comfortable cabin to be in anyway. And just the handling is just very pokey now, which I really like. So this car is now exactly where I always wanted it to be. Fresh bushes, engine's basically new on the inside. Yeah, it's a good place to be. And now I have the peace of mind that hopefully nothing else is going to go wrong, other than maybe sensors or some electronics or whatever, but that's kind of expected for a car that is 20 years old now, especially an M car or an old BMW in general. There's a bit of a crack on downshifts when I blip the throttle on downshifts. A little bit of a crack coming from the midsection of the exhaust, which I did not hear before. Now, I did have the shielding of the cats removed. They're not totally necessary and they were rattling, so I did have those removed. So whether that's because of that or not, I don't know. Kind of like it. It sounds a bit more raspy. There, heard it there.